Aloha. You're watching F5 On Demand. I'm Peter Silva. We're here in San Francisco for VMware Partner Exchange 2015, booth 209. If you're at the show, come on by and see us. So earlier this week, we announced some solutions being added to vCloud Air. And so I thought I'd get Matt Quill, he's our business development manager handling the VMware relationship, to come talk to us a little bit about these new cool solutions. So good to see you, Matt. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. So first off, for those who might not know, and then we'll get into the actual announcement, what is vCloud Air, for those who might not know?
So vCloud Air is basically VMware's first foray into public cloud.
Okay.
And basically they positioned it as sort of a hybrid cloud setup where using the same tools, the same things, integrated vCloud Director, you can actually deploy in a public cloud, which is vCloud Air, or on-premise, using the same tools, or move application workloads. So there's a lot of flexibility that it provides and allows customers who have standardized on VMware tool sets, on VMware, to sort of deploy the same types of products in a public cloud using VMware tools.
And so I know we've had Big IP, LTM, and GTM already on there. So what's the new cool announcement?
Yeah, so with GTM and LTM, we qualified GTM about 6 months ago. We were basically focused on their disaster recovery service. So disaster recovery service, providing DNS failover from an on-premises to their disaster recovery site using vCloud Air. And so what we're doing now is one of the proof points, or one of the use cases that they're really going after and that customers are really embracing, is multi-tier web-based applications in the cloud. The challenge is that when you deploy those multi-tier web-based applications, you need to protect them against layer 7 type exploits.
Sure.
So we actually went through a fairly rigorous qualification process with vCloud Air. We defined a use case where we deployed essentially a broken application using something called the damn vulnerable web application.
Yep.
And it is basically full of holes, full of all sorts of security holes. You can do data leakage, you can put your social security number and it will spit it out, you can do credit cards, things of that nature. And we went through and showed and demonstrated ASM protecting against those type of exploits.
Nice.
And so they were pretty enthusiastic about that. Obviously, it's something that can help them broaden and build out their portfolio. And then we put together a bill of materials, launched it into the solution exchange. So pretty compelling offering.
So now we have the high availability, the DNS services, and now a web application firewall, the security in there to protect those web applications.
Yeah, so we're really building all of our portfolio. And the interesting thing, and I think unique and differentiated thing about vCloud Air, is that they go through a rigid qualification for all third-party applications. It's not like on some cloud platforms where you just put your product on the shelf, you're completely responsible for supporting it. There's sort of a mutual partnering type relationship with vCloud Air that allows us to sort of specifically go after use cases and build solutions that add value to customers.
And so are these solutions, I know there's bring your own license and there are also pay-as-you-go type licensing too on the vCloud Air?
Yeah, one of the exciting things that happened is about 2 weeks ago, VMware announced support for a pay-as-you-go model. Up until that point, you actually had to buy a finite chunk of public cloud at a monthly basis, and that's still available, but now you can do an on-demand offering whereby you can pay by the hour. We currently are BYOL, all third parties are, but we are working very aggressively with VMware to get our products into their marketplace so that customers can sort of use F5 in an on-demand fashion. That will give them the choice, depending upon the workloads that they're deploying in vCloud Air, to either use it on an as-needed basis or use it on a continuous basis, depending upon what they like.
Now, one of the things we hear often, particularly with cloud deployments, is the ability to manage the cloud deployment. How is it managed within the Big IP system? Is it managed within the VMware system? How is that all taken care of?
Yeah, so one of the things that's very interesting is that there's no real change to you from an end user's perspective. A very cool thing that I think is unique about vCloud Air is that you can actually get console access without having external access to the system. So you can go into vCloud Air, spin up a Big IP, and get to the CLI, get to the console, and make changes, check configurations, things of that nature. What you can also do within vCloud Air is vCloud Director is integrated into vCloud Air. So you can actually create VApps and then deploy those VApps multiple different times. So you can set your configs, save your configs, and then redeploy your configs as needed. And I think that's a unique and very user-friendly type tool.
So now many of our viewers might be aware of AWS too. They deploy solutions within AWS, which we have, and this is kind of similar, correct?
Yeah, no, so it's very similar. I think that VMware vCloud Air is a little more focused on specific use cases at this time, but they're rapidly building out their portfolio of use cases, solutions, and third-party integrations, of which we're a big part of that. The difference, I think, is the rigid qualification that they go through. The fact that we define a use case, we validate that use case in vCloud Air, and then we go to market together. It's a little bit different from a large store type model where you put your products on the shelf and you drive all of the demand. We're jointly partnering on a lot of these activities.
And it's kind of cool too, just mentioning AWS, that F5, just ourselves, we're making our solutions available in these various public cloud entities, so customers are able to then deploy our services in the cloud also.
Yeah, and I think that what this does is this provides us with our customers with a choice. Yeah. So if they are VMware customers and they really like using VMware tool sets, they're comfortable with it, they like deploying it, and they want to sort of consume public cloud using VMware tool sets, they can do so. Yep. If they would like to do so in AWS or some of the other cloud platforms out there, they can do that as well. We're providing them the choice, and we want to provide a portfolio of solutions in each of these cloud platforms.
Right. Thanks a lot, Matt. That's pretty interesting. I've known about, obviously, the LTM, GTM piece, but adding the security is very critical in the cloud.
Yeah, no, I think that it's really a no-brainer. You're deploying an application, you need to secure that application. Yep, that's what we really need to do that. Yep. Absolutely.
So a lot more about our announcement of adding our Big IP Application Security Manager into vCloud Air, and really an overview of the F5 and VMware vCloud Air solutions, courtesy of Matt Quill. So thanks a lot, Matt. I appreciate your time. So for Matt, I got Tripod holding up the camera. I'm Peter, and we're with F5 Networks. Thanks for watching.